So welcome to this episode of The Real Event Producer. And I'm delighted to welcome Chris Cummings from the Future of Work Insights. Chris, first of all, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thanks very much, Ralph, and thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your events that you run.
So for the last 7 years, we've been running the Wellbeing at Work summits. They're global summits taking place in 7 or 8 locations around the world, and they really focus on business leaders and HR leaders to drive that conversation around the importance of well-being in the workplace and mental health strategies.
And you kind of couldn't be better placed, could you? Because with everything that's happened in the past year, I mean, well-being was important anyway, but it seems to be everywhere. Like in all the publications that I read, people are talking about how work's changing and also about well-being. I mean, has it been a really positive period for you?
I think, look, I've been banging the drum about the importance of well-being and mental health within the workplace for 7 years. A global pandemic certainly brings it to the top of the agenda. So in that sense, it's been very positive. That conversation has really moved on, and organisations of all sizes are now taking it seriously, which is great to see. Obviously, with the enhanced conversation around this now, it becomes a very competitive market. So in that sense, there's a lot more choice for our attendees. But because we've got a really strong brand, good reputation, we've seen a really good year this year.
I mean, just give people a sense of what you were doing before you got into virtual events. You know, what would an event look like, and then how's it been since then?
Well, we really tried to design it so it wasn't just a boring conference with lots of PowerPoint. So it was an experience that people had when they came to our events in a physical environment. Obviously, we were doing them all around the world, so the team enjoyed going to all of these different locations around the world. That changed completely in March, but the shift from live event to virtual has been a really positive one for us. I think there's 3 key areas that we've seen. One is greener. Attendees don't, speakers, sponsors, nobody has to travel now. So we're a much more greener organisation, and that's something that's been really important to us. The time saved for our attendees, our audiences are really, really important to us. We used to design events to be as close to their location as possible, but many did travel, and so the time that has been saved for attendees and the choice that they have being able to tune in and have on-demand services has been fantastic. And finally, the insight and the data for our sponsors has been far more extensive than it was from a live environment. So those are the 3 key areas for us that have really made a difference.
It's interesting you talk about sponsors, because I think for a lot of people watching this, sponsors make the world go round to a certain extent. I mean, do you have any tips or advice for people who are still sitting on the fence about virtual events?
Well, I think you're right. I think there was certainly a period from the spring through to the summer that there was a bit of resistance from commercial sponsors, but that value has really shown itself over the last 3 or 4 months. And as those platforms develop and become more intuitive for sponsors, I know there's a huge amount of development going on. We're really going to see that advance. So in terms of tips, look, in a live environment, it's a full-on couple of days as an event. You get to meet lots of people, but it's often difficult to have those more in-depth conversations. With the platform that we have, you get access to the platform 2 weeks before the event. You can set up meetings. You can really schedule your diary. So you as an attendee, you can have meetings with other attendees and sponsors in between those live stream content areas. So the data, the number of meetings, has been at least 3 times what you get from a live environment. So
Wow.
our sponsors are very happy.
And I wanted to ask you about video and media production. When you were saying to me earlier, you're not sure you'd still classify yourself as an event company. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think traditional events companies really have to embrace the benefits of virtual and not see themselves as an events company. We're a media company. We're broadcasting, and I would put ourselves next to TV production and TV companies, because if you look at, for example, a hybrid event, it's very similar to a sporting occasion. You would have a crowd within a football stadium, but you'd have a much wider audience tuning in on Sky, watching it in that way. So, it's really important. You can have Zoom and Teams and these great platforms for meetings and smaller gatherings, but I think when you're delivering high quality content and you want to give the audience such a great experience, you really want a high quality partner like Event Video to deliver some fantastic live streaming and the quality that goes behind that, the production and all of the work behind that.
I mean, a few people say, "Oh, well, you can do this on Zoom or Teams." What do you think about that? I mean, they have their place, I would imagine.
Absolutely, yeah, and I use Zoom and Teams on a regular basis for a quick chat with clients or contacts throughout the day. A bit like we continue to use the phone sometimes, which seems ancient now, but they do have their place. I think as an events company or someone who wants to stand out from the crowd, look at how much content is out there now online, and if you just do another Zoom, you are restricted. You can't do many of the great things that you can with a quality live stream. So if you want to be an average provider, then stick with Zoom. If you want to be the best, then I would go with a high quality live stream partner.
And let's just talk briefly about the future. I see that your event calendar is out already for next year. What does the future hold for your company and for the team?
Well, it's really exciting. I mean, we've created the Wellbeing at Work hub to sit alongside our events, so that's more of a membership community. So in between those big virtual events focused on particular regions of the world, we're continuing that conversation throughout the year with our community. And it's a great bank, a knowledge bank for all of the content. Again, you can drop in that virtual event content straight into our global community, and people can share ideas from around the world. I think the future is really bright. As I say, as an event organizer or as a broadcaster, as we're known, I think if you embrace that technology, get the right partners on board, you can really grow your footprint across the world very, very quickly. So I think it's a bright future for us.
Chris Cummings, thanks very much.
No problem. Thanks, Ralph.